Hello, 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 and welcome to Freedom with Marketing. Today we're going to talk about something quite interesting. There's a lot of speculation here, and there's a lot of fun involved in it, and that is what is the future of email marketing? Before I dive into the topic, I want you to think back for 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or maybe even longer, and just think, what was your life like in the early 2000s? What kind of things did you do? What kind of things did you have? What kind of phone did you have? And now look at the way things have changed in the last 20 years. I remember 20 years back, I had an old Nokia phone, and all I could do on that was send text messages and make phone calls and play Snake. And now everybody has a smartphone in the pocket where you have access to pretty much all of the information in the world at your fingertips. That's happened in the last 20 years. Arguably, we have made more progress from a technological standpoint in the last 20 or so years than we have in the last 2000 years. And things are only really speeding up with artificial intelligence and the various other new types of technology that are coming into play. So, with all of this in mind, how will this affect the future of email marketing? That's what I'm going to discuss and give my opinion on in this video. So, to start off with, I want to make it clear that I do not have a crystal ball. I cannot predict the future, and I have no idea what will happen in the future. This is just a guess, it's just my opinion. But before we look to the future, it's always good to look into the past and to try and get some historical context, which can give us the foundation to try and make more accurate predictions about the future. So if we look back thousands and thousands of years ago, people were still out there marketing and selling, but it just wasn't called marketing and selling. Let's look, for example, with from a biblical context. And Jesus was a salesperson. He used to go out and he used to share his message, and people listened to him and people bought into his ideas, and that's how the religion started and grew. Likewise, the teachings of the Buddha all started when he went out and started to share his ideas with people. The people bought into his ideas because his ideas were good, and that's how things evolved. The point here is that for thousands of years, selling, marketing, promoting your ideas was all done in person. People would go out into the town hall or town square or wherever it is, they'd share their ideas, and people would listen or people wouldn't listen, and that's how it was. And that's pretty much how it was until we could start to write. And so then when we could start to write, obviously we started to share our ideas in the written form, and having the book and the printing press completely revolutionized the world and the way that we can communicate messages and to do it at scale and quickly and efficiently. And this evolved into the concept of direct mail, which I'm not sure when it started, but probably about 100 years ago. And the concept there is that you would write a sales page and you would put it in an envelope and post it to a whole bunch of names on an email list, and that's how marketing was done for a long, long time. And I studied all the old direct marketing greats like the likes of Gary Halbert, and there's a few other people as well like John Carlton that was involved in it, and I've studied them a lot and learned a lot of their techniques. But you see, the problem with direct marketing is that it's expensive because you have to pay to have the message printed, you have to pay for postage, and you only really, you have to pay all of this money up front, and you only really get the benefits afterwards. You have to wait for people to place for orders in order to get the money back. And so all of this was revolutionized again with internet and internet marketing. No longer did you have to pay the upfront costs to write and print thousands and thousands of letters, and then the upfront cost of paying for postage, and then the reality that most of your letters won't even be opened because they'll just be thrown into the bin with the rest of the junk mail, or even worse, person delivering the post or the postal service know they're in junk mail and they just throw them away, to being able to write a message online and sharing this message with potentially with thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people online quickly and easily. And back in the day, with the early days of Google advertising and Facebook advertising, when you're paying pennies per click, people made a lot of money. That was the next stage in the revolution of the way things changed, and sort of productivity skyrocketed enormously with the internet. And now we're on the verge of something similar again with artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is most likely going to dominate the future of marketing. It's most likely going to dominate the future of a lot of things. And the reality is that it's going to become a big part of the your content marketing, email marketing, social media marketing strategies moving forward. So before I give my predictions on what I think will happen in the future, let's have a quick talk about artificial intelligence and Chat GPT. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know what it is. You know how revolutionary this new technology can be. You know the benefits of it. If you've actually used it, you probably can see how the potential it has. But also, if you've actually used it, you can see the drawbacks of it too. So, to start off with, I'll have to address the elephant in the room with me that initially, or on the surface, artificial intelligence and ChatGPT is a major competitor to me, my business, and what I want to do. But in reality, this isn't exactly the case. At least not yet. Because anyone who's used ChatGPT to try to create content, you probably know how hard it is. Yeah, there's every man and his dogs out there now giving workshops, masterclasses, webinars on artificial intelligence and the prompts and how to use it and whatnot, because it's a hot topic. It's a trending topic. But when you actually try to do it yourself, the reality is different. So let me share with you two recent experiences that I've had, not through my own use, but actually hiring other people that use ChatGPT. And these stories can then be used to illustrate the downside of them with the current level of advancement that they're at, but also to give you an idea of how things might go in the future. So the first is I recently had a web developer come onto my team to upgrade my website. Over the years, I've written various things on the website, and it has been 100% neglected until quite recently. And so, as part of the package, the web developer told me that they'll do the web copy and sort the web copy out. And the web copy I got back, it was horrendous to say the least. It was written by artificial intelligence. It did not sound natural. And what originally had my own unique style and voice, which I've developed over 10 years or more, became nothing short of corporate jargon mixed together that has no meaning, no tone, no personality, no nothing. So I actually have then had to go back and spend 5-6 hours to go through the web copy to try to put it all together and put my voice and style back in it. I mean, obviously, because I haven't updated the website in such a long time and it was a complete mess, everything was disjointed, so I had to put things together and tie things all together. But I literally had to rewrite everything from zero in order to present my voice, my style, my personality, which are major unique selling propositions and major aspects of your brand. But the artificial intelligence that they used did not do anything about it. It just made it corporate jargon and nonsense. The second story was, if you know anything about me, you know that I like to write books, and I have a goal of having 100 books published. And one of my latest books, I enlisted someone and paid them a couple of $100 in order to edit the book. I'd already got someone to edit the book before. I'd gone through it myself. I just wasn't quite happy with it. It just didn't fit. So they went through, put it through ChatGPT to shorten it, to make it more concise. And then everything in the book had gone from my voice, my style, my personality, the small little quirks that I'm not even aware of that add sort of flavour to the writing were gone. And it was just, again, turned into something that sounded corporatey, that just Some of the sentences didn't flow right. It just didn't make sense. And again, I had to then pay someone else who would go through the book and turn it back into a book that has my style and voice. And these are two of the consequences of using Chat GPT. This is what the downside is at the moment. Now, full disclosure, I use it myself. I pay for ChatGPT Plus or ChatGPT Pro, whatever it is. I've paid to have it pre-programmed, and I encourage my team to use it for different things. But we don't deliver final products. That's just something that this software has spat out. We use it as a tool for research. We use it as a tool for creating the substance of something and to put something on page in a quick way, and to add various elements and styles to the writing. But ultimately, we have to have at least one human going through the output in the emails to add the style, the voice, and all of the other things, and to turn it into a proper asset that someone has created, used, and something that can actually promote their brand in a positive way. When you see people just using what ChatGPT spits out straight away, honestly, and this is my opinion, and obviously I'm biased, that when I see stuff and I know it's written by artificial intelligence, it kind of puts me off the brand a little bit. You know, if you hear what I like to say a lot, and what I focus on, is that in marketing, the relationship's the most important thing. And I honestly think that having content that just does not sound natural, does not match your voice, style, personality, people can tell, and they probably will like your brand less as a result of it. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. The agency I hired to help manage my social media, I know they use ChatGPT, and I know that they use it quite often and publish for stuff. But I also like to create my own content, and I do it in a completely different way, which retains my style and voice and creates content and emails and assets in a quick and efficient way. So that's with ChatGPT and artificial intelligence at the moment. And if you've so the question is, in a few years' time, are things going to change? Well, if you look at the way that deep fakes are evolving, and a deep fake is basically a fake image of someone, and it's all but impossible to tell whether it's real or not. They have reached a point where you can't really tell the difference unless you are an expert in these things, and even then it's quite hard. The videos and audios of people with the deep fakes of those, which basically imitate someone's voice and you can get them to say what they want. These have advanced to a level where it can be difficult to tell the difference, and obviously the connotations of these are not good in terms of the future of humanity and what's going to happen. And it's also worth pointing out that with software like ChatGPT, which I believe is a majority shareholder in ChatGPT is Microsoft, and you know we all know Microsoft's goal and what their objectives are, and personally, I do not trust them. But the fact of the matter is that the output and the things that ChatGPT and other AI software is trained on tends to be left-leaning political talking points, and therefore the output is biased. And if people do become very reliant on it in the future, it's just going to create an Orwellian style future where information is completely controlled and nobody knows what's real, and everyone has this personalized messages. So the information that I receive is personalized to me and my preferences, whereas someone like would receive completely different perspectives of. It's just a nightmarish scenario if you look at where this could head. But again, how does this apply to your marketing? Frankly, I don't think artificial intelligence is a mind reader. It is a tool. It's an advanced tool. It's an intelligent tool, but you have to be able to give it clear prompts, you have to be able to direct it, and you have to be able to give it instructions on what to do. And if you're unable to do that in a clear, concise way, it's just going to end up taking you far more time in order to create your assets than if you didn't use it. Now, say for me, I could quite easily write a daily email in 10 minutes, and that email can be sent out. Whereas if I wanted to use Chat GPT, it's going to take me 20 minutes to get the prompts right and to add everything in, and then another 30 minutes changing what it is. So for me, it just takes significantly longer to actually use it to create the asset. But, that being said, it is a tool, and you use tools in whatever way you want, and it certainly will have an impact on the future of email marketing, content marketing, social media marketing in the future. So where does all of this lie when it actually comes to email specifically? Personally, I think email will become obsolete. Yet, I'm still advocating for email marketing right now. If you have a long-term view of the future, that again back to the start of the video, you look at how things have progressed in the last 20 years. How are things going to progress in the next 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, and further? At some point, email will become obsolete. I don't know what will replace it, but that doesn't really matter to me, because at the end of the day, email is just one medium of communication. It's just one way to communicate, in the same way that this video that I'm recording now is also a one way to communicate my message, my ideas to you. Email is the same. Social media is the same too. They're just mediums of exchange. So, with that in mind, the same principles that you use with your email marketing, social media marketing, content marketing, etc., today will inevitably work on any new medium of communication that appears in the future. Yeah, you might have to shorten your message for sort of in the same way that people use WhatsApp or SMS marketing. Obviously, you can't put a 3,000 word sales letter in a SMS. So obviously, you have to change the way that you do it. But ultimately, the principles remain the same. In all aspects of your marketing, the asset is the relationship that you have and the ability to share your message with them. What I like most about email is that you own your email list, because it's nothing more than a list of names and contact information. Whereas on social media platforms, you are relying on their rules and regulations, and on any whim, they can suddenly block you, ban you, shadow ban you, restrict your sort of reach, and a whole bunch of other nefarious stuff for having the wrong opinion or for saying the wrong thing that upset one or two people out of 200,000, and they have control of your business. If you have your email list, yeah, your autoresponder is a company, and they can terminate your relationship with them. But there are a lot more autoresponders out there that are aligned with your views of free speech. Maybe they align with a more conservative libertarian political perspective, and they aren't going to stop you from using them. And if you find you have a problem with one of your autoresponder software, as long as you back up your email list, you can just upload it onto another one, and nobody even knows something happened. Compare this to you rely on Facebook, and Facebook blocks your account, and then you can't post on there, and you can't reach people, and a few weeks passed, and then you've lost any momentum and compounding that you've built up with the relationship side of things, and it has a serious impact on your business. That's why I like email. Email also gives you the ability to track data, and to date, as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, email is still the most effective way to market and make sales and to generate an income compared to the other social media platforms. So the future of email marketing might look different because of all the new platforms that come up. But as long as you can take ownership by finding a way to have a hard copy that cannot be erased or cannot be deleted or cannot be lost of your followers, subscribers, customers, and clients, so you will always have a way, you will always have people to contact. I mean, as long as you focus on building the relationship and focus on nurturing the relationship, you can just simply switch between platforms, and whatever happens in the future, you will inevitably still have the ability to communicate, market, and help your target audience. So this leads to the question that if a relationship is the most important asset, not the specific medium of communication, how do you build a relationship? When it comes to marketing, the key to building a strong relationship, to nurturing your prospects, to taking someone that's brand new to your brand the first time they've encountered you, to becoming a lifelong fan that refers others to you and buys all your products and services, the answer is you need to have you need to communicate with them frequently, and you need to do it consistently for a long enough period of time. And when you do this, the people that like your ideas are going to buy into your ideas, and they're going to want to hear more of your ideas, and they're going to become fans of your brand. The people that don't like your ideas and don't buy into what you have to say, and don't buy into and don't agree with you and don't want to support you, naturally they're just going to move away to someone else where they do. You have to just do it for a long enough period of time and make sure you do it enough times, communicate enough times in order to build these relationships. And when you do it over a few years, this is how you turn first time, people that encounter your brand for the first time into lifelong fans. Email might be the way to do that now, but in 5 years, it might not. It might be something different. But does it really matter what that different platform is, or the different medium of communication is, provided that you communicate your ideas consistently, and you do it enough times, and you do it for a long enough period of time, so you can actually build these relationships. And it doesn't really matter what platform you use, because people that become fans of your brand are going to find you and consume your content regardless of what the medium of communication is. That's why I think that if you actually look and try to make predictions of the future, no one's got a crystal ball. But, I don't think email's going away anywhere in the next few years. I do think a lot of it will be done by artificial intelligence. But there are the upsides and downsides to that. And that's something that you have to decide yourself. But it's the relationship that's the most important thing. And as long as you can apply the same principles that you do with email marketing onto whatever replaces email, you're going to get the same. You're going to get the same results. Now, when I said before that I think email will become obsolete on a long enough time frame, I do think that's the case. I do think most of the social media platforms that you currently use to market will become obsolete too. I remember when the first social media sites came out, that was MySpace, I think. Bebo was another one, and several others, and they're practically non-existent anymore. And I'm not sure if anyone ever uses them. The social media platforms that we currently use today will likely become obsolete given a long enough period of time, as competitors come and replace them and compete for them. So the entire market, the entire arena and platforms you can use is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. New ones are going to emerge, old ones are going to disappear. Different types of communication are going to appear. One example of that is 10 years back was sending a voice note a thing. I don't think so. But now it's a huge way to communicate. So therefore, you want to send voice notes to communicate with your target audience if you can. And likewise, there's going to be new ways of communicating which we did not think was possible now in the future. So, what can you do in order to leverage all of this and to stay ahead of the trends, so that the work that you put in now to building the relationships and using a platform doesn't exactly go to waste? What I would suggest you do is you apply what I have what I call the content cubed strategy, and that is basically that you take one piece of content and you multiply it and then use it on different platforms. What are Say for example, you have a video. It's the easiest way to understand. You record a video, and then you can create 10 shorts from the video. You have turned one original asset into 11 assets. The short videos can be put on YouTube. The short videos can be put on TikTok if you use it. I personally don't. You can then basically multiply your reach because you create content once and then you put it onto different platforms. And then you can take the audio of the video you recorded and you can turn that into a podcast. And you can publish it on podcast platforms. And you can then use that in any medium of communication or any platform that focuses mostly on audio over video. Again, all from one piece of content. Of course, you can then create shorter versions of your podcast too, if you plan the content correctly, and then each of those become an individual asset. You can then get the transcription of your video and then use that as the substrate to create SEO content, to create your emails, to create your social media, and a whole bunch of different things. And by doing that, you can literally record one video and then have the content that you record from one video turned into multiple different assets in multiple different formats of multiple different lengths, optimized for whatever platform it is that you want to use. So if a new platform comes out that replaces email at some point in the future, by applying this content cube strategy, you know that by recording a video, you can extract content from it that you can use on whatever platform it is that replaces email or replaces Facebook or replaces Twitter or whatever platform it is that you're using. And I think this is a powerful strategy that you can implement in your business to protect yourself against changing trends and changing directions of things in the future. And obviously, it will take a lot of time for you to be able to do this. But if you start to focus on creating a system where you can convert videos to audio, audios to text, and then create long form, medium form, short form content in each format, and then have a team in place that can optimize the content for different platforms, you can basically show up everywhere your audience are and you can leverage every platform. And aside from building the system and paying the team to do it, it doesn't really cost you anything. And you can literally create 200 individual assets from one 90-minute video that you can record per week. And that is what I would suggest you consider doing in your marketing, so that if you have any concerns about a certain platform that you use becoming less relevant, or if you don't think email is going to be around in a few years, or if you or whatever reason it is, you can apply a strategy like this and you can basically you can show up everywhere in whatever format it is on whatever brand new platform comes in the future. That's all. If you like any of the ideas I've said in here, again, it's just my opinion. And since it's my opinion and not really based on any hard evidence, because I can't predict the future, I might have sort of gone in a few different directions and been a bit convoluted. But again, that's what I think. I think, just to summarize, I think email will become obsolete if you give it a long enough time frame. But that's irrelevant. The biggest asset that you have is the relationship you have with your target audience, your customers, your clients, subscribers. You want to take ownership of this relationship and ownership of the ability to communicate with them, which is why I like email so much, because it's just a list of name and email addresses. You can use Chat GPT, but there's a lot of disadvantages to it now. If you do use Chat GPT, I would strongly suggest that you get a editor who can subsequently come in and change the things Chat GPT spit out into a usable asset. And I would suggest you apply the content cube strategy, where you can convert one asset into 200 assets in different formats, different lengths, different styles to use across social media, email, whatever it is. So you can literally show up on every platform that you want to, in all the places your target audience are, in the correct format and style. So it doesn't matter what happens in the future, because you can take advantage of it. So if you'd like any help implementing the content cube strategy, or how my team and I can help implement any of the daily email strategy and help you apply and help you convert emails into social media posts and your videos into all of this stuff, get in touch. There's a link in the description below. See you in the next video.